Time now for the shocking stat of the week. But let me preface it by saying, I appreciate a heck of a lot of people don't like statistics. They don't need numbers or research to form their opinions on policy. So you're going to have to forgive me because I'm not one of them. In fact, I'm not even sure what a conversation looks like with someone when it comes to policy decisions if they don't care about the track record or research or stats. What's more worrisome, I find, is that our policies are also created in that vacuum, which plays a monster role in what is euphemistically called unintended consequences. And we're living them all the time. I'm going to give you a quick example. It wasn't the goal of government when, in their own words, they allowed temporary visas to get out of control. Their goal wasn't to put downward pressure on wages for our lowest income earners or put upward pressure on rents in some big cities as demand grew. But that's exactly what happened. And I think we need a much deeper discussion as to how, in order to avoid that caliber of outcome in the future. So, in saying so, those who don't like stats, well, forgive me. But those who do, here's our stat of the week, courtesy of the Fraser Institute, who found that every province, with the exception of Manitoba, had total government employment grow at twice the pace of the private sector from 2015 to 2024. And of course, that goes a long way to explain the increase in the cost of government, and along with that, government debt and deficits. I'll give you a few examples. In British Columbia, the public sector grew 3.5% in that period of total employment, while the private sector grew only 2.2%. In Alberta, the numbers are 1.8% public sector growth versus 1.4% private sector growth. In Saskatchewan, it was 2% public sector versus 1% when it comes to the private sector. In Ontario, it was 2.8% versus 2%. I mean, it goes on and on. New Brunswick saw 3 times more growth in the public sector employment than in the private sector. They had 3% in the public, 1% in the private. I think you get the idea. If you were thinking it was more and ever bigger government in the last several years, especially compared to the private sector, well, you were right. But the consequences are also real. As public sector spending increases in combination with both deficits, debt, and taxes. You got to forgive this glibness, but I read all that and I think, welcome to Canada.